It is Jackie with Pocket or Preschool, and tonight we are talking all about the new counting unit and counting ideas you can use with your kiddos in your own classroom, and a little bit about the math curriculum. So thank you so much for joining me. So I want to tell you a few things at the top about what's at the top. Links to the math curriculum and the counting unit is at the top, as well as links to my Amazon favorites, because some of the things I'm going to show you are linked there. And then, my past Facebook Lives are also linked at the top, as well as the Facebook group. So if you have any questions that you think of after this Facebook Live is over, hop over to the Facebook group and you can ask over there, and we will all chime in and help you. So hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. So we're going to jump right in. So basically what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you all of the counting activities that are in the counting unit. It is ginormous. And then, as I go, I'm going to kind of do like a Q&A about the math curriculum. So a lot of people are asking like because and I know a lot of us we do themes in our classroom. So like we do a 2-week theme on, like we're doing camping right now, or we might do a 2-month theme on construction worker or construction or whatever the theme is. So everything in the math curriculum, it's kind of like everyday themes, as I call them. So there's something that you could use anytime during the year. So they are not, they're not seasonal. A lot of them have to do with food, and a lot of them have to do with math manipulative. So there's some that you can like throw in, like if you have a bucket of Legos, you can throw in the counting game with your bucket of Legos, and they can, you do the counting game and they're just in with the Legos. If you have a tub of change in your classroom, or you have a tub of dominoes in your classroom, you can stick the games in there. So maybe besides just playing the dominoes or playing with the change, they might do a pattern activity, or there might be a counting activity in it. So they're things you can use kind of all year long, or you can kind of do it as units. So let's say the month of September, you want to focus on counting. So you'll do all your regular stuff, but you're going to focus on counting. So you'll do a lot of the activities from the counting unit. Or maybe the month of October, you want to focus on patterns or shapes, and you want to focus on that. But it's kind of up to you. Like, you can do it how you want, how it works for your classroom. And everybody's different, because when I taught full day, I would usually have like an overarching thing. I was like a math concept I was working on, and I would still integrate other things. Like we would always work on patterns and sorting and counting. But maybe this month, if I needed an extra math small group and I didn't have any like certain thing for it, I would always do counting. Because, at the beginning of the year, we always tend to focus on counting, right? And then like towards the end of the year, when kiddos are older and they've just learned all the other math things, we kind of work on like the patterning last, right? And like I know a lot of kindergarten teachers, they do a lot of the 3D shapes last. So you can either sprinkle these in all year, or you can use them as kind of like a month unit. There are 9 units that will be included in the math curriculum. They are shapes, counting to 10, which was just released this week. There's counting to 20. And I know some people are asking about counting to 5. And I'm going to show you the counting to 10 unit. And tell me and give me your feedback. But I think the counting to 10 unit, you can just pull out numbers 1 to 5 and use the counting 1 to 10 unit and just use up to 5 for that. I think that will work. Or if that is not working for you guys, I can always pop in and do a mini counting to 5 unit, if that's needed, or maybe for like those super young 3s, maybe that's needed. So I just kind of want to hear your feedback. So the curriculum is not set in stone, kind of like the last year I did the science curriculum, and I added in things as they were kind of needed, and as you guys give me feedback, I kind of tweak things a little bit. So always make sure you're giving me feedback on how it's going in your classroom. I am using it in my classroom as well. And I am sprinkling it in because we do 2-week themes and I'm half day. So I'm not getting to use a ton of it, but I'm going to use a little bit of it. Plus, these are activities that I have used before. They just haven't been pretty, and I haven't made directions for them. So some of these are ones I've had or like been using in my classroom, but I just haven't made them TPT ready or ready for you guys because they were just for me in the classroom and they weren't, perfect. So So yeah. Oh, and then organization, because I know some of you guys are asking about organization. I'm gonna keep I was keeping my 2D shapes unit, that has been out for like 5 years, and I actually just revised it last year. I used to keep it in these iris tubs. They're from Michaels, and you can see it's packed full, you guys. The shapes unit, that's why they're more expensive than my other units. I want to say the counting unit is 14 and the shapes unit is 14, because they're almost like 200 pages. I want to say the shapes unit is over 200 pages. And then I was keeping them in binders, but I want to pull things because I know some of you guys use this for like RTI and intervention work as well. I'm actually going to switch, and I'm going to put all of my units in these drawers, so that way if I need a pattern unit, I can really quick pull this out and say, okay, I need this chain pattern unit, or maybe we're going to do the ice cream pattern unit. So that way it's kind of more easily accessible. And then you can always just stick the binder in here, or you guys know I like to just put it on a book ring, and then you can slide it in here as well. So I'm actually going to switch to using drawers for my math. That way I can easily pull things out when I need them. These drawers are from Michaels. They're kind of expensive because they're like super thick plastic. These are what I use for my stem drawers. They're from Michaels, so make sure you wait till they're on sale and use a coupon. They come in rainbow or clear. You can use other drawers, but these are from Michaels, and I want to say they're around like $80, but I dropped this one, so I broke the corners, but you know, life. But otherwise they're pretty sturdy. Like my kids haven't broken them, but of course, you know, I did. Always. But I've had my stem drawers in my classroom for 3 years. And I had some rough kiddos that were rough on things, and they didn't break them, and they use them all the time. So yeah, so these are from Michaels, and there is only 8 drawers in them, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 drawers, so I was just gonna put a basket in the top, and whatever I was pulling from a lot, I was gonna keep on the basket, and then kind of switch it out that way. But you can use any type of drawers that have 9. You would want either 8 or 9, and if you have 8 like these, I'm just gonna have a basket on the top with the unit that I'm working on currently. Or if maybe you don't do like 3D shapes, or maybe there's a unit that you don't do, just leave out that unit, and then you can have 8. So on to the counting unit. Everybody's saying they love the drawers, and I love them too. That's why I have now 2 sets in my classroom, and actually my kids have one, and they're like office / crafting area or whatever in the house. So yeah, so I have 3 of them. They're awesome. So yeah, so the counting unit, here are all the teacher pages. And the table of contents is clickable because it is a giant file. It's like 175 pages. It's huge, so just click on the file you want and it will take you there. There is, and these are with all of my units, there is a book list. So there's a book list with all of my favorite counting books. They're linked to Amazon. I'm not saying that's the cheapest way to get them, but they are linked to Amazon. They are not affiliate links, but if you need these math counting books, because these are perfect to use at Circle, and there's ones for all different themes, and I actually have read every single one of these books. So they are really, really good books. They're not just ones I randomly found. So they're really, really quality books. So they're awesome books. And they're perfect for our little learners. And then the rest of the unit, as you can see, has real photographs of all of the items. And I know a lot of the games call for manipulatives, but everybody has different manipulatives in their classroom. So what I did is at the top, I gave you ideas for manipulatives. So maybe you don't have Apple mini erasers. You can use red pom-poms. Maybe you don't have, I don't know what it would be. Then there's an idea for you. And there's tons and tons of ideas in here for you guys. But yeah, it's packed with lots and lots of colored pictures of them in action. And then there are, I want to say like 20, I actually put them in one sleeve because I don't use them. There are 20 worksheets included. I want to say around 20. I don't know the exact number. I don't use them personally with my preschoolers and my pre-K kiddos. I just don't use worksheets in my classroom. But if you need them or you like worksheets or you want to use them, they are there for you. But I personally don't use them because I think kiddos need to learn through play and hands-on activities. So yeah, but they're in there if you need them or you are required to use them, because I'll tell you this little funny thing. So in one of the face groups I was in, people were talking about this preschool worksheet and the teacher couldn't figure it out. And I was like, oh no, if a preschool teacher can't figure out a worksheet that is supposed to be for a 3-year-old, then it's probably not developmentally appropriate, right? We want kids to do hands-on activities, and all of these activities I'm gonna show you are hands-on. Even the flashcards, we're not using them as flashcards, we're using them for games. So, where do I keep all my books? In my library, which I will show you a picture of that after we are done. So they're not theme-based. So if somebody's asking if these are theme-based, but you can put them in with your themes, because you know, like there's a watermelon game and a kite game and a balloon game, so you can put those in with the themes that you want. So you can do that way too. All right, so there are number posters included with real photographs. And don't just hang these up on your wall. Lay these out on the floor and put them in have your kiddos put them in a number line, and then take your dominoes and they can sort. So on the 3, they would put all the 3 manipulatives, and maybe they would put 3 Legos on there. So again, number posters, you can put them on the wall, but you can also use them for a game. And this goes for any number posters you have. They don't have to be these. I do this activity probably at least 3 times a year with my kiddos, and it's so much fun. They love it, and they're moving, especially in the winter time when you're stuck inside and they can't go outside and you need to get them up and moving for activities. Take your number posters and put them on the floor and have them count out the manipulatives and put the different ones on. Maybe they're gonna put 3 chains on there. Maybe they're gonna do 3 mini erasers, maybe with 3 pom-poms, and it would be on the floor, and everybody's up and moving, everybody's counting, and they will check each other. They'll go, oh, that's not 3, that's 4, and they'll fix their friends' mistakes, so then they're checking each other's work, which is higher level learning. So yeah, so again, all real, fabulous photographs. And again, this unit is just a 10. The unit that goes up to 20, well, I will work on that one next. Just gonna put it all under the table. All right, so there are tons and tons, not tons and tons, probably like, I think 6 different sets of number cards. So and I'm not gonna, you can call them flashcards, but please don't use them for flashcards. So there's cubes, there's counting hands, there's dice, there are numerals, there are dominoes, and there are 10 frames. So the reason why I color-coded these is because if you are using these for a game, and I'll show you some of the games you can use these for later, or maybe you just want to put these out on the table, and just like with the number posters, just put them out on the table, and those kiddos can match that many manipulatives on that number card. That way your sets don't get mixed up. So if you have 2 different groups of kiddos, or maybe you're doing a math game for a small group, they can easily go, oh, these are our cards and these green ones are our cards. That way they're not getting mixed up and you don't have to match them. They can easily tell them apart by the color. And if you're having kiddos use these ones that are in color, like the cube cards, just put a colored dot on the back. So there's number cards, and because we're going to use them for games. So one thing that we all love, and I know are these sand writing trays. This is actually a wooden tray. It's from a lacing game, a lacing Melissa and Doug game. If you don't have this tray, use one of those Ziploc, like Rubbermaid-ish containers, and it has like 2 parts. Those are at the dollar store. You can use it. This is just colored sand, or you can color salt. But what they do is they just shake to erase, and I just put some of these cards on a ring, and they're just gonna practice writing the number, and then they can count out that many with the erasers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they count out that many manipulatives and then they can make the number. So now they have a sensory and they're feeling the number and they're counting out at the same time. And you will need mini erasers. You can use mini erasers for this. And my suggestion is, and this is what I did, I have these out in a bucket on my cubby. That way, and they're not theme related. I call them our like everyday, again, everyday theme, everyday mini erasers, because I literally just found the mini erasers that, so I got like a bag of rainbows, these some monsters, frogs. I want to say I had like an assorted set from like Party City or Five Below. And then I think I put like a couple different random sets in there I found at the Target dollar spot. And they just use them, and there's different ones of different kiddos like, and you can just put these out with your stand writing tray, and it doesn't have to go with your theme. And I think sometimes we get stuck thinking that everything we do has to go with our theme, and it doesn't, which I get stuck on that too, so much. But we gotta remember, like, we just gotta have fun and give them hands-on activities. So put these on a ring, and they can flip the card, count out that many, and then write it in the tray. And you can do that with the domino cards. You can do that with the 10 frame cards. That was 1, it's not 0. So yeah. So that is a game you can play with the number cards. There is also a Play-Doh tray, and I'm gonna try and do a Play-Doh tray for every unit. So this one are number monsters. So what they're gonna do, and again, you totally do not have to have my unit to do this number tray. So what they do is they just, and I'm gonna do it really quick. So they would pick a number. So I'm gonna do 2. So these are just little magnet numbers from like the Target dollar spot, and they put it on the belly. They can make a head if they want. Here, I'll make a little monster head. So they have the number 2, and then they were gonna put 2 of everything on, so give them 2 eyes. And then maybe they want feet. And I love, these are like matchsticks. You can find them right by the popsicle sticks at Michael's. And then maybe 2 arms. And then maybe just 2 like little things on their outfit. Maybe they want to use the buttons for hair. You can kind of do it however you want, but you can make little number monsters. They're using fine motor. They're getting some fine motor work in. They're doing some sensory, and they're counting a bunch. They're identifying the number and then counting out all the different pieces. And you can use anything really for your Play-Doh tray that you want. I actually keep a set of magnet numbers that I just use for Play-Doh, because sometimes it'll get stuck in there, and then I just, if they get stuck in there, it's no big deal, because I know that these are our Play-Doh numbers. So, and then if they need extra help counting, they can count it out on the mini eraser math mat. First, they can count it out 1, 2, and then they can put it on their number monster if they need to help kind of like lining it up and counting it out. So that is number monsters. We love Play-Doh trays. So yeah, oh, and this tray is from the Dollar Spot, Dollar Tree. It's like a chip and dip tray. You can also find them at Lakeshore. More expensive at Lakeshore, obviously. All right. Now here are some of the counting games. They're, oops, it's over here. And don't judge me on how many colored trays I have. I think I'm using like every single one I have in my house. Oh, and I'm gonna show you all the manipulatives I have over here real quick. Let me show you. So many, right? Because I want to give you guys options. So there are Dupo Lego brick counters. So it just has the number, and then they can count. So that way, even if they think they recognize the number, they can always count to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you can either use the Dupo bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it doesn't match up perfectly because I had to kind of space them out a little bit. But they can count out 7. You can also use the little Lego bricks, or you can use those big, I forgot what they're called, the big jumbo Legos. Or there are cube count cards. And again, put these on a metal ring and put them in with your, like if you have a tub of cubes like this, just put it in there, and then it's just an option they can have with a game. Oh, somebody's asking about these strings, Mega Blocks. That's what the bigger Lego blocks than these are called. Thank you. Yeah, so these trays, I know some people are asking, these trays are from the Target Dollar Spot during back to school, or Lakeshore has them. So I'm gonna get a little one. So let's say 1, 2, 3, they would count out that many. They can either put it again on it, or they can smush it together and make 3. So again, the number and a visual to help them count. Because it takes at least, since we do lots of hands-on activities in my classroom, I do not do number of the day or letter of the day. So this is kind of what I just do all the time. We're always playing number games, we're always counting, and I always have objects along with that number, so that way if they don't recognize that number, they have a strategy of a way to figure it out. So that's one counting set you can do. Another one, and all of my train lover kiddos will love this. So these are train cards, and what they would do, obviously I can't set this up very well on this tray, but they basically make a number train on the floor. So they would make it all the way to 10, and then they can put that many objects in each car. So that one will be 1, they can do 2, and you can put anything in here. You can use pom-poms, maybe you want to use mini erasers. I will say mini erasers are nice because they don't move. Since they're rubber, they kind of stick and they don't move all over the place. You can use silly stuff like big googly eyes for just to be silly and to have extra fun. Big googly eyes are really fun counters. And these are just little cupcake things I got from the dollar store. But they're really fun little trays. Like if you have this in the center, how fun would that be? Or you could even put this on there. I want to say, oh, these little baskets, I think I used my Scholastic bonus points to get these. All right, so there's the number train. And if you are only working on numbers 1 to 5, just do numbers 1 to 5. Totally fine. And then you can't really have a counting activity without having jars, right? So I have the number, and the number trains actually, they don't have the objects on them. So they have the number, and then they can count right here at the bottom. And somebody's asking if I will have a bundle that goes up, the unit that goes up to 20, and yes, I will. That one, I'm working on that one next. So you can do 5, and you can do this for your theme. Maybe you're doing bugs, so they can put 5 little bugs in there. Maybe you want to put little counting bears in there. Count 5 bears out. Maybe you want to use pom-poms. Maybe you want to use buttons. I actually got these buttons from Walmart. Super simple. Put 5 buttons in your jar. Super simple. And these you can use for tons and tons of things. And they do have a cover on them, so if you want to put them on a book ring, you can do that too so they don't get lost. So somebody's asking how many sets do I make? And I usually just make 1 set. And then if I do have it on a book ring and I use it for a small group, I just take it off the book ring and then we all use it. But yeah, I usually just make 1 set for kids. This is the counting link. So there's the number, and then there's that many chains, and then they put that many chains on it. And then all I did was put a little hole punch in the card, and that way they can count out the number of chains and link them together. And if you'll notice too, a lot of these manipulatives, the chains, the mini erasers, I'm gonna do some with beads next, the Legos, all of this is great fine motor work too. So that way they're doing fine motor and counting at the same time. And we're making it fun, right? You don't need worksheets. Put them away. Put those worksheets away. I'm kidding. You can have some worksheets, but make sure you have lots and lots of amazing hands-on activities too. These are just clip it, count it cards, so they're just gonna identify the number and then put that many on. And this is, I think there's only 3 or 4 things in here that don't have the dots on it. But if you wanted to just draw that many dots on, you could. And these I just printed on colored paper. And I print everything on regular paper now, instead of using cardstock just to save paper. Here's the number 9 one. Or you could even pretend these are like flowers, and they could put that many petals on. Or you can print them on yellow paper and then put just yellow clips out. However, I don't have enough yellow clips, so I just put out rainbow. So yeah, and that all those ideas that I'm telling you are in the pack. These are super fun. I've used these in my classroom for a while, and my kiddos love them. And they're little counters, and you put the beads on them, so they identify the number, and then you put the beads on them. And all you do is I laminate them, and I laminate and then cut. And they seem to hold up fine, but I just tape a pipe cleaner to the back. So we have flags, so you could use these for like an American theme, or like around the world theme, like for different flags, or you could even do the balloons for like a birthday theme or a summer theme. And then I also have little kites. So they identify the number and then put that many on. And these beads I just got from the dollar store. They're just the regular pony beads. If you have little guys, or maybe your guys or girls have weaker fine motor, get those jumbo pipe cleaners and put the jumbo pipe cleaners on here, and then get bigger beads. That way they can do this game too and be successful, even though they're fine motor and maybe their eye-hand coordination is a little bit weaker. So you kind of flip the card and then you count. So flip and count, I think is what I called it. And there are 2 sets of numbers with these, number cards with these. So there are ones with just the number, or there are ones with the number and the number of objects. So you pick which one you want to use. So basically what they do is they get a little board, and then they pick a card. I'm going to pick a little one just for time. So 2, 1, 2, and they can check it. And then they count out that many. So they would count out the number of bears. And again, we use counting bears all the time. I know a lot of people have them in their classrooms. So if you don't have counting bears in your classroom, you can always just use little pom-poms. You can use anything. And then another flip it, count it game is this aquarium count. And again, this game has the number cards with the number of objects, and it has it with just the numeral. So you pick which one you want to do. And this game, how much fun would it be if you used goldfish crackers? And you can give everybody, print one off, or you can just laminate it and just wipe them clean. So they can do that, and then they can count out 1, 2, 3, and then they have a little snack afterwards. So super fun. And then all kids love money. I mean, we do too, right? So I made this adorable piggy bank count game, and we're just using pennies, so it's just 1 cent. And you can either use the numeral cards or the cards with the number and the object on them. And they just get a board. Again, pick a card and count out that many. 1, 2, 1, 2, and put it in the bank. And then they wipe it clean, and they play a game. And you can use fake pennies, you can use real pennies, whichever you want. I took it out of the cash register of our Dramatic Play Center for that. This one I love, but it might be because I love French fries, which I shouldn't eat anymore, because French fries are bad for you, right? But they're so good. Can you tell I'm trying to eat better? And it's just not working out very well. So my love of French fries came into this unit. So, but look at how fun I made little French fry counters. So these is just that foam, and I just cut it up, and I just like took the scissors and cut it. There's no rhyme or reason. They're just that big, 'cause that's how long my scissors were, and that's how big they are. So you now have French fries for your game. I'm telling you, I love French fries. So this is one of my favorite games. So you can either use the cards with the number of objects and the number, or just the number. They put it on, count out that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they can check 1, 2, 3, 4. and then they can eat their french fries, and then pick a new card. So I think this one might be my favorite game. So those are the count and flip activities. If it's blurry for you, some people are saying it's blurry. Can you tell me in the comments if it's blurry for you? Oh, somebody has also said you can make the french fries. You can also make them with yellow sponges. I went to Target and they didn't have any yellow sponges, so this is what I got instead. So me and you had the same idea, girl. I want to say the Dollar Tree has yellow sponges, so you could totally make french fries with yellow sponges too. So this is another, there's 4 of these games. This is a make it, count it, or count it, make it. And again, these have a cover, so if you want to put it on a book ring, you can. Because these are really fun for morning tubs too, like maybe you're a kinder teacher or maybe you are a preschool or pre-K and maybe they have to have morning tubs they do when they come in. You could even put each one of these in like a little basket and they could pick these out to do. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, so for manipulatives that are really tiny, like these little beans that'll fall through a lot of baskets, these cups, there's 12 of them. And I use these all the time and they're clear. They're from the dollar store and they're in like the fancy party section. You know which section I'm talking about at the dollar store. So you get 12 and these are perfect to put like little beans in. Something that's super tiny that can get lost that will kind of fall through a bigger basket. I use these all the time in my classroom. There's 12 of them for $1. So you really can't go wrong. So they count it, and then they make it. Sorry, I thought I had a typo, but I just can't read upside down. So they count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they make it. So they can trace the number, and then they can count out that many manipulatives. And again, I give you ideas for all the manipulatives on these games too. So if you don't want to use black beans, like there's an idea to use black cubes. You can use black pom-poms. I give you tons and tons of ideas. So this is the watermelon one. And then this is the cookie one. So this is, okay, so when I took photos of this, I forgot to put this away, so that's why it's crusty and old. So this is actually some of our cinnamon Play-Doh we used last week from our apple theme, and I just put sprinkles in it, and it looks like real cookie dough. So they count it, 1, 2, 3, and then they make it. And then they would make that many little cookies. I love putting sprinkles in Play-Doh. It's so much fun. The sprinkles do come out a little bit, but if they play with it a lot, the sprinkles will melt in the Play-Doh. It won't melt on their hands for some reason, but it'll kind of turn the Play-Doh like rainbowish colors eventually. So yeah, so hopefully it doesn't make them want to eat it, but or just make the Play-Doh with them and then they won't eat it. You can also cheat and buy like store-bought like this Play-Doh and just put sprinkles in that too. That'd be really fun. So this is the Make It Count It cookies. And then we have gumballs. So these tiny pom-poms I actually found in like the Target dollar section like last month. So they count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They make it and then they put that many gumballs in the gumball machine. Super fun. Hands-on. I mean, who wouldn't love playing with these little amazing pom-poms? And you can use regular pom-poms too. I just have these, so I put them with it. This one is an apple tree count. So if you have apple mini erasers, use those. If you just want to use red pom-poms, totally, I don't want to count out that many, totally count that many out. Count it 1, 2, and then they can make it and then put that many on. So yeah, so again, they're sneaking in some fine motor work and they're counting. Oh, somebody's asking, so do I ever not have the amount on the side? So for this game, all of the count it, make it, I do have it on the side, and that way they can kind of like self-correct too. They can say the number and then kind of, you can say, I want you to guess the number first and then have them check it. That way to make sure they're correct. So, yeah, so if you think they know their numbers or you want them to practice just recognizing them and identifying them quickly, have them recognize it and then count. But it's just a really good way to self-check. So another fun set of games I have in here. This one I love. So my manipulative's out of the way. They're taking over my table. So this one is just a feed the puppy game. So I just put the little puppy paper on a bag and I just cut a hole. And so there's so many ways you can play this game. So there's number bones and there's dot bones. So they can either match the number to the dots and then feed the puppy. They can identify the number and then you can get little real dog bones. And this is just one of those like ice cream cups, but I thought it looked kind of like an ice cream or like a puppy dish. So they can identify the number and then count out the matching number of dog bones. And then they can feed the puppy, or they can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they can just count out the same 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can play this game kind of however you want. They can match, they can just count, identify and count, or they can count and then count. So whatever works for you. And again, all of these directions are on all of the teacher pages. And you might want to play some of these games different with different kiddos. Maybe you have a lower level group, or maybe you have a younger group and you want to play the game maybe easier. So maybe for this game, maybe you're just going to put out like numbers 1 to 5 for your 3-year-olds. And then maybe with your pre-K or your kinder, they're going to put out all the numbers 1 to 10, and maybe the pre-K kiddos or the kinder kiddos are going to have to match them and then count. So it's totally up to you. This one is a popcorn game. So my popcorn are just yellow pom-poms. And I know I use pom-poms all the time, but in my math center, I have literally, it's like a bucket like this, and it's just with pom-poms. And I just buy them at the dollar store when they're on sale. Hobby Lobby usually has them pretty cheap. But I just grab them from there, and then I use them for a game if I need a certain color, and then I put them all back. That way I'm not buying pom-poms over and over and over. But the dollar store has them. I think right now the dollar store has like neon ones and maybe like regular packs, at least the one by me. So for this game, there are numbers on the popcorn boxes. And then there are 10 frame numerals and then counting hands. So they would have to match them. And then if you want to add a hands-on counting experience, you can then count 1, and then they could count 2. And it goes up to 10. And again, the counting 1 to 20 unit will be released next month. And I will release at least one unit a month until the whole math curriculum is complete. So just so you know. So yeah. So, and if you want to make some of these into file folder games too, you can totally do that. Like you could totally glue 1, 2, and 3, 4 in a file folder, and then they have to Velcro this. All of these trays, somebody's asking about the trays. All these trays are from the Target Dollar Spot, or you can find them at Lakeshore. Okay. All of your car fans are gonna love this game, and there's a few ways to play it. So give me a minute while I set it up. But this is it's just like I think it's kind of like a classic preschool game. So it's like a number parking lot game. I know everybody's probably played this or made this for their class sometime. So it's basically a parking lot and has the numbers on it. And there's a couple ways you can play. So there's number cards with the number of objects, or there's just the numeral. So you pick which one you want to use again. So what they can do is you can either use like those little itty bitty counters from like the party section at Target, or you can use like Matchbox cars. But let's say they pick a number, so 7, and they would check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then they can drive it into the number 7 spot. So you can play it that way, or you can, and this is just like yellow masking tape, put the numbers on the cars and they can drive. Oh, never mind, sorry. I think it's something else in my head. So you can drive, they can drive all the different cars into the spot. You probably want to put this on the table and not on a tray though. That way they can actually like drive it in. And then they can drive all of their cars in. So you can play it that way. Or there is and I just printed this on gray paper. I actually didn't have gray, I only had gray cardstock. So the gray and brown cardstock, I usually find that at Michael's. Astro Brights I don't think has gray. Just so you know. Just a little fun fact of the day. So this is the number parking lot with dominoes. So you can either, again, have them use the cars, or they can pick a number and they can drive it in, or you can have no tape on these and they can pick a number like 2 and they can drive it in. Or you can play this game with dominoes. So this is 4, and they would have to match it 4. Or you can use this board with dominoes, 2, 4, and I would just have them kind of like stack them, 7, 6. Here, let me give you an example. Let's pretend like both those are 2. So then they can like stack them and they can see, then you can look at the different ways different numbers are made too. So all of these counting games I'm showing you today, these are only in the counting to 10 math unit. These are brand new games that I have not released yet, ever before. All right. That one is really, really fun. And I totally took my kids' own cards for these. They don't know, so please don't tell them I took their Hot Wheels. So if you've been around preschool, you know Cover Up, and we all love Cover Up, right? So I'm going to tell you how to play if you have never played before. And I have 2 different versions. I have a 10 frame, so each kid will get one, or there's little ones, so if you want to use them with mini erasers, you can do that. So the counting 1 to 10 unit, somebody's asking, is only on sale until tonight at midnight, and it's Eastern time. Not Central Time where I am, because TPT headquarters is in New York. So if you want this unit for half price, which normal price is $14 and the sale price is $7. So grab it tonight so you get it for the sale price. Oh, somebody's asking when can you buy these new games? You can buy them right now. The link is at the top. This is the counting 1 to 10 unit, everything I'm showing you tonight. So for Cover Up, how you play is each kiddo gets a game board, whether you use the big board or the little board, which is perfect for mini erasers. And basically, they roll the dice, 1, and then this person rolls the dice, 6. And then they have to keep playing until their board is full. And it depends on you and the level of your kiddos, but I usually say that you have to get the exact number to win. So like, let's say this board is, let's say they rolled and they're all the way to 9. This kiddo would have to roll a 1 to get to 10. Because if they rolled a 3, they would have 3, but only 1 fit. So I would say that's usually what my rule is for my classroom, and you guys can play it however you guys want. But yeah, so I would roll 1, 1, and the game is full. And I usually play 2 where everybody wins, so then this person would just wait until this person rolls a 2, 4, let's pretend, and I rolled a 2, and look, I won 2, and then everybody wins in preschool. That's what I always say. Because everybody wins. Because it's preschool, and it should be everybody wins. Because they're too little. They're just too little, and they should be happy. Also, this is a game, okay, this is something I'm really, really excited about. So these are puzzles. So this is a big floor puzzle. So it goes on the floor, and it has numbers represented a whole bunch of different ways. So there are Legos, the number, counting hands, and a 10 frame. But it's a floor puzzle. So it's giant, so they can put it on the whole floor, which is really fun. Or there are smaller puzzles that you can play on the table or in a pocket chart. So another fun way, different ways of representing different numbers. So again, this one has the dominoes, the cubes, and the numeral. Then I have a couple more. And you guys, I'm telling you, this set or this unit is ginormous. You can use it all year long. So actually this one you'll recognize, because this one you guys love this game that I have, and it's actually in my community helpers game. But I made a just generic version so that way you can play it all year. So you can use this with star counters. You can also use this with Play-Doh. So they count it, how many, okay. Why do I always get like the big board when I'm showing you guys an example? So they count it, 1, 2, 3, and then they would trace it. And you can also put these in, if you don't have like a lot of lamination, you can also put these in dry erase pockets and just put 2 in each one. Oh, you can tell we played this game with this. So yeah, and then they can make that mini Play-Doh balls. If you want to make it this game for Play-Doh, you can also use mini erasers. You can also use cubes. You can really use whatever for a lot of these games, which is why I like a lot of these games. You don't have to have a specific manipulative. And then we have full-size Play-Doh mats. So these, I just pulled out my insect erasers. So they can make the number with Play-Doh here. So they would roll it to make the number. We're just gonna pretend that I made the 10 like really, really well. There we go. And then they can count it to check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they trace it. And they can build it, or they can mark it. Whatever you want to do. And then there's like a gnat or something. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they can build it, or you can have them even build it with Play-Doh, whatever you want. But these are, again, super generic 10 frame mats, so you can use them with lots and lots of different themes. I wanted to make them so you could use them all year long. So you didn't have to say, oh, I'm doing Halloween and I only have these Halloween games. You know, I can't use that game because it's for fall and it's December. So yeah, so these Play-Doh mats you can use with anything, and you don't even have to use, again, these mini erasers. You can use your just random jar of mini erasers. If it's Halloween, you can use eyeballs. You can always use buttons. You can put anything in those jars. And then these mats also come in black and white. So if you want to use these as a worksheet, you can use that too. So you can they can color the crayons, they can trace, and then they can use dot markers to fill in the jar and the 10 frame. So that is another option. Or if you want to save ink, since a lot of this unit is in color, you can print these on colored paper and save ink that way. And then last, but definitely not least, this is another game that comes in black and white, so you can make, if you want to use color boards, you can make color boards. So this one comes in, this is just cover up. So this is dominoes, and this is dominoes that are different, so it's not ones that have like a 0 and a 5, a 0 and a 6. Yeah. Sorry. Did I print the same one? I don't know. Okay, anyways, I'll have to figure that out later. Anyways, one of the domino games they're different. It's probably just because I'm on Facebook Live and I can't think that fast. But these two games are different. And then there's also a dice, and one with just numbers, and then one with 10 frames. So this is a way you can use the 10 frame cards. Oh, and you can also put these 10 frame these number cards too with your Play-Doh trays. They have to pick a number to do. So they can either pick a domino, or maybe they have to pick a card 4 and they have to cover up the number 4 and they have to find it. These are bingo chips. I don't know if you guys have used bingo chips before on a game, but they're just like those old school magnetic bingo chips. And then if you use a magnet one, it's just a really fun way for them to clear the board. And then if you want to use it as like a worksheet that they can take home, you can totally use it with the dot markers too. So super versatile, tons of ways to play. And then, oh, I forgot to tell you about all the different ways you can use the number cards. So again, you can just line up the number cards on the table and they can put out that many manipulatives. So if I have outnumbered 1, I would grab 1 chain, 1 Lego, 1 mini eraser, 1 of everything. And then for 2, grab 2 Legos, put those by it all the way to 10. You can also do like a memory. So you put them all face down and then they flip a couple over at a time. You can play memory with these. You can put them with the Play-Doh tray, so they have to pick that number and make that number Play-Doh monster. You can play Go Fish. You can also just match up the cards. So take out the dice and the numbers, and they just have to match them. Or you can take out the dice, the numbers, and the cubes, and they have to match them. So you can play it as a matching game too. So you don't have to use these just as flashcards. And again, you can totally use it in the sand writing tray. So those are all the games. There's so many games included in the counting 1 to 10 unit. It's almost, I want to say it's like 175 pages long. And again, there's, you can either keep the units in these iris containers, or you can make a set of math curriculum drawers like I'm gonna do. And you can tell, this is where my unit will go. I have the pattern one in here. So far in the math curriculum, the only units that have been released so far is the shapes unit, the counting to 10, and the patterns unit. So here, I'll give you a sneak peek. This is all of the different patterns. This is the pattern unit. And you guys should feel, I don't have it all in ready yet. I don't really do much with patterns the first part of the year. So I'm just gonna put that in my page protectors later because I just haven't had time. So all of the things are in here for the pattern unit. And then these drawers are from Michael's. If you want to grab them, just make sure you use your coupon because I think they're expensive. All right, well, you guys have a great night. I hope you guys have an amazing night, amazing rest of the week, and take care of yourself and your kiddos. See ya.